I found my wife's earring in his car, a small, silver hoop with a missing clasp. Something I'd seen her wear 100 times while pretending not to notice her distance. It was lying there between the seats, catching the light like a secret that wanted to be found. He noticed me staring at it and laughed too quickly. "That's yours, isn't it?" he said. My throat tightened. "No," I said. "It's hers." He froze, but only for a second, the kind of pause that betrays guilt before words can cover it. "You're imagining things," he said, shaking his head. "You two must have the same taste." Same taste. The irony was cruel and perfect. I'd known something was wrong for months. Late meetings, phone calls that ended when I entered the room. The scent of her perfume on clothes that weren't mine. I told myself I was overreacting. People in love see ghosts where trust should be. But ghosts don't wear silver hoops, and they don't sit quietly in passenger seats. I said nothing that day. Just pocketed the earring and drove home in silence. My heart ticking like a metronome set to denial. When I got home, she was in the kitchen, humming, radiant, rehearsed. "You're late," she said. "Traffic," I replied. I kissed her cheek, felt her flinch, and realized I wasn't married to her anymore. I was married to the version of her that lied better than she loved. That night, while she slept, I opened her jewelry box. The other earring was missing. Over the next few days, I became an observer. I watched her phone light up at odd hours, watched her eyes drift whenever I spoke. I didn't confront her. I didn't need to. Some truths rot slower when left in daylight. Instead, I planned. I invited him to dinner, just the two of us. "Business talk," I said. He looked relieved, like guilt needed friendship. I poured him wine, smiled when he tried too hard to act normal. Halfway through the meal, I reached into my pocket and placed the earring on the table. "You dropped this," I said. He stared at it, then at me. His mouth opened, but no sound came. I leaned back, calm. I asked her about it. She said she lost it. I guess she didn't mention where. He swallowed hard. "It's not." "Don't," I said softly. "It's insulting when people choose to lie badly." He sat there, eyes darting toward the door. I let the silence stretch until it felt like a verdict. Then I stood, left enough cash to cover the meal, and said, "You can keep the earring. I'm done with things that come in pairs." The next morning, I packed my bags before she woke. I left her a note, "I found what you lost. I'm not looking for the rest." By evening, she'd called, crying, apologizing, swearing it was a mistake. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. Revenge doesn't always roar, it sometimes sounds like a locked door. A phone unanswered, a silence that finally belongs to you. I found my wife's earring in his car, he swore it was mine. But I wasn't the one who'd left it behind. I found my wife's earring in his car, a single, delicate gold hoop caught between the seat and the console. It glinted in the sunlight like it was mocking me. I reached for it slowly, as if touching it would confirm what I already knew but didn't want to believe. My best friend was driving, one hand on the wheel, humming along to the radio. When he noticed the earring in my hand, his reaction was too quick to be innocent. "That's yours, isn't it?" he said, voice light, almost rehearsed. I looked at him for a long moment before answering. "No, but I know whose it is." His eyes flickered, just once. A nervous tick that told the truth long before his mouth could lie. "Weird," he said, forcing a laugh. "Maybe it fell out when." "When what?" I asked quietly. The silence that followed was louder than traffic. That night, I went home early. She was in the living room, barefoot, reading. When she saw me, she smiled like nothing in the world could touch her. I walked over, kissed her forehead, and said nothing. I noticed, though, one ear was bare. The other still wore its twin. She caught me looking. I lost the other one, she said, shrugging. Must have fallen somewhere. Maybe in his car, I said. The color drained from her face. For a split second, I saw the real her, terrified, cornered, wordless. Then the performance resumed. Don't be ridiculous, she said, forcing a laugh. You're overthinking again. That was her favorite defense. Make me sound crazy so she could stay calm. I didn't confront her again. Not that night, not the next. I didn't need to. Truth has a way of showing up when you stop chasing it. I let her think I believed her. I even pretended things were normal. Over the next month, I started shifting things quietly, moved my money, took back the car in my name, canceled joint accounts. Every plan she'd built with me, I replaced with a wall she couldn't climb. Then, one evening, I invited him over for a drink. He looked nervous, like he'd been expecting the call but hoping it would never come. I poured 2 glasses of whiskey, placed the earring on the table between us, and said, "She said it was mine." He stared at it like it might bite him. "Keep it," I said finally. "It suits your taste better." He opened his mouth to apologize, but I was already standing. "I don't need your confession," I told him. "You both already gave it." The next morning, she woke up to find me gone. House empty, keys missing, phone disconnected. I didn't leave a note. People like her don't deserve explanations. They deserve the silence they forced on others. I found my wife's earring in his car. He swore it was mine. And that was the moment I realized she'd been wearing her lies for so long. She forgot I'd once bought the truth. I found my wife's earring in his car on a Tuesday afternoon, one of those small, accidental discoveries that changes everything without raising its voice. It was wedged between the seat and the console. A delicate silver drop I'd seen her wear at our anniversary dinner just 2 weeks earlier. It caught the light like it wanted to be noticed. He was laughing about something when I found it, some story about a client. His hand tapping the steering wheel, music low. When he saw what I was holding, his laugh stuttered and died. "That's yours, isn't it?" he said, his tone too casual to be real. "No," I said quietly. "It's hers." His grip on the wheel tightened. "Man, don't start with that. Maybe it fell when she was sitting right there?" I asked. He didn't answer. He didn't have to. His silence filled every space the lie couldn't reach. I didn't say another word for the rest of the drive. When I got home, she was folding laundry, humming softly to herself. Domestic calm, the kind that hides sins better than any excuse. She looked up, smiling. "You're early," she said. I dropped the earring on the table. It landed with a soft metallic click. Her eyes flicked to it, then back to me, then down again. For a moment, the air between us turned into something sharp. She reached for it slowly. "Oh," she said, "I thought I lost that." "You did," I said. "In his car." Her face didn't crumble. It rearranged itself, denial, then anger, then pity. All in a single breath. "You're being paranoid," she said, shaking her head. "You always look for drama where there isn't any." That's when I realized what hurt most wasn't the betrayal, it was how easily she thought I'd believe her again. I didn't shout. I didn't demand answers. I just smiled faintly and said, "You're right. Maybe I imagined it." She exhaled, relieved, mistaking my quiet for forgiveness. Over the next few weeks, I made my exit invisible. I gathered every document, every password, every account. I smiled through dinners, made her coffee, pretended to sleep beside her while planning a future where she wouldn't exist. Then one morning, I left the house key on the kitchen counter beside a note that said, "I found what you lost. You can keep him. I'm done losing things that aren't worth finding." By the time she called, I was already gone. I found my wife's earring in his car. He swore it was mine. But lies don't belong to the people who tell them. They belong to the ones who stop listening. I found my wife's earring in his car on a quiet Sunday morning, a single gold stud. The one with the tiny pearl she wore to our anniversary dinner. It was stuck between the seatbelt buckle and the leather seat, gleaming like gilt under sunlight. I picked it up slowly, holding it between my fingers the way you'd hold a truth you didn't want to believe. He noticed. My best friend. The man who'd toasted our marriage. Who'd spent weekends at our house fixing things that weren't broken. His laugh died in his throat when he saw what I was holding. "That's yours, right?" he said, too fast, too light, like a man tripping over his own script. "No," I said. "It's hers." He stared ahead, both hands on the steering wheel, his silence louder than confession. That night, I went home early. She was in the kitchen, humming. Her hair tied up the way she knew I liked. I placed the earring on the counter next to her phone. She froze. It took her half a second too long to smile. "Oh, I thought I lost that," she said. "You did," I said quietly. "In his car." She stopped moving. The refrigerator hummed behind us. "You're wrong," she whispered. "You always assume the worst. Only when I'm right." For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Then she picked up the earring, turned it in her fingers, and said, "If you're looking for a reason to leave, just say it." "I already found one," I said. "But I didn't leave. Not right away." Some endings deserve more than an exit, they deserve precision. Over the next month, I acted normal. Breakfast, laughter, late-night conversations that sounded real enough to fool even me. All the while, I moved money, sold assets, built silence around her like a wall she couldn't see yet. She thought I'd forgiven her. That was her mistake. When everything was in place, I invited both of them to dinner, said I wanted to clear the air. She came dressed like she wanted to be worshipped. He came nervous, smelling of guilt and cologne. I poured wine for three, set the table with care, and placed something small in the center, her earring gleaming between the plates. They both froze. "You left this behind," I said. Her hand trembled. His eyes fell to the floor. "It's not what you think," he started, but I cut him off. "I'm not thinking anything," I said. "I'm done thinking about either of you." I stood, left the papers on the table, divorce, sale agreements, everything signed. "The house is yours," I said to her. "He can help you pack." I walked out before they spoke. I didn't need to see their faces. Some silences don't deserve witnesses. Outside, the night air was cold and clean. For the first time in years, I felt lighter. I found my wife's earring in his car. He swore it was mine. But when people lie that easily, the truth doesn't hurt anymore. It just sets you free. I found my wife's earring in his car late one evening, small, silver, familiar. It was lodged near the gearshift, reflecting the streetlight like it wanted to be caught. He was my best friend, and when I picked it up, his laughter cut off mid-sentence. For a second, everything froze. The air, the hum of the engine, my pulse. "That's yours, right?" he said, voice too steady to be honest. I turned it over in my palm, tracing the tiny engraved pattern I'd once bought her on our third anniversary. No, I said softly. But I know whose it is. He looked away, jaw tight. You're overthinking this, he muttered. You always do. The lie was almost worse than the truth. That night, I went home and found her reading in bed, wearing the matching earring. Just one. I watched her for a long time, memorizing how calm she looked while my whole world quietly shifted. When she finally noticed me, she smiled, sweet, effortless. You okay? I placed the earring on her book. She froze. You dropped this, I said. Her eyes darted to it, then back to me. The color drained from her face. Where did you? In his car, I said. For a long moment, there was nothing but the sound of the clock ticking, one of those cheap wall clocks we'd bought together years ago, steady and unforgiving. She started to speak, but I walked away before she could finish the sentence. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't cry. I just thought about all the years I'd mistaken comfort for loyalty, routine for love. By morning, my decision was quiet and absolute. For weeks, I pretended nothing had happened. I cooked breakfast, went to work, came home to her rehearsed affection. I smiled when she touched me, knowing the distance between us was already permanent. Behind the scenes, I moved the accounts, sold the car, and scheduled the appraisal for the house. Every detail measured, every step deliberate. When I was ready, I asked her to dinner. To talk, I said. She came dressed beautifully, like she always did when she wanted to win an argument with appearance alone. Halfway through the meal, I placed a small box on the table. Inside was the earring. I thought you might want this back, I said. She didn't touch it. Her voice broke. I made a mistake. I know, I said. That's why I'm giving you a clean start. She blinked, confused. What do you mean? I sold the house. The money's split. I'll be gone by morning. She started crying, but I didn't feel satisfaction, just stillness. The kind that comes when a storm finally ends. Later that night, as I packed the last of my things, I saw the earring on the kitchen counter again, right where she'd left it. This time, I didn't pick it up. I left it there, her little monument to everything I'd outgrown. I found my wife's earring in his car. He swore it was mine. But lies always fit too loosely, they never stay clasped for long.